Hi friends, welcome to Unit 1. Unit 1 is about equations and inequalities. Day 1 focuses specifically on linear equations, formulas, and problem solving. So here, talking about the study of algebra. Study of algebra in and of itself is composed of families of equations. So really we're looking for groups of equations that share similar characteristics or traits. Linear equations in one variable are equations that can be written in the form ax plus b equals 0. And this is the case where a and b are real numbers, and then a cannot equal 0, because if a is equal to 0, then we don't have a linear equation anymore, we have a constant. Since the greatest degree of a variable is 1 in a linear equation, it is called a first-order equation. First-order equation. You have seen these before. This is mostly a review of previous material. We can have three different types of linear equations. One's called a conditional, then we have a contradiction, and then we have an identity. A conditional equation is an example of that is if I have 2x plus 3 is equal to x plus 2. So what I would do is just solve for x, subtract x on both sides, minus x. And then I have x plus 3 equals 2. Minus 3 on both sides to get the variable by itself, and then you get x equals -1. So in this situation, it's conditional. It equals one value. For this to be true, there has to be a condition for it to be met, and that condition is x must equal -1. Contradiction, a little bit different. So a contradiction is when we have something and it produces what's called a contradiction. An example of this is if I have, say, 2 times in parentheses, x plus 2 is equal to, say I've got 2x minus 3. So this produces a contradiction, and if we simplify by distributing, getting 2x plus 4, so then equal to 2x minus 3, subtracting 2x off both sides, we're left with 4 equaling to -3. A lot of students will want to put a slash mark through that and say 4 does not equal -3. Please don't. You're changing it from an equality to an inequality. Instead, you can put an x above to show that you disagree with this statement and that is not true. In fact, this is false and a contradiction. So this is a contradiction. And the last one that we have in linear equations is identity. Identity is a situation where we have, say, the left-hand side of the equal sign equaling the right-hand equal to sign because they're exactly the same thing, value, variable, expression, whatever. An example of this would be if I have, in parentheses, 2 times x. I was concerned you wouldn't be able to see this color. Let me grab a new pen. 2, not much better, times x plus 3 equaling to 6 plus 2x. Some of you can already see what's going to go on here. So if I distribute the 2 to the x and the 3, I get 2x plus 6. That is equal to the 6 plus 2x. Well, wait a second. These are exactly the same thing. What's on the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. What this is called is an identity. It's called an identity because all values that you plug in for x, any number or substitution that you use for x, is true no matter what. And because it's an identity and because it works, sometimes you'll see the response for this or the set that makes this true, because the values, when we find when x makes this true, well, this is true for all real numbers. So all real numbers. Remember the symbol for that as well. So you'll see that used with identity, and that's because the values of x that make it true are all real numbers, but this is called an identity. So again, the values that make it true, all real numbers, and then it's called an identity. Join me in the next video as we go over example 1.